Have you been trying to decide between RF microneedling and CO2 laser? Maybe you've been hearing people raving about the RF microneedling, or conversely, been really afraid of it. Maybe you've seen those incredible before and after photos from CO2 laser treatments, and you're wondering which one's actually better. After more than 25 years in aesthetics, I'm going to give you an answer that might surprise you. And the answer is neither, because they do completely different jobs. The reason this gets confusing is that we tend to think of aging as one thing. But the truth is that we age in layers. We lose collagen and elasticity, our skin becomes thinner, we develop pigmentation, the texture changes, and we get crepey skin. And the deeper structures of the face also begin to shift and descend. That's why I absolutely love combining RF microneedling and CO2 laser in the same treatment. They're not competitors, they're teammates. RF microneedling works in the deeper tissue. It creates controlled injury and thus that healing or wound response beneath the surface of the skin where collagen remodeling and tissue contraction occur. This is why we often use RF microneedling when we're trying to improve skin laxity, firmness, texture, and overall collagen production. Now, CO2 laser is a completely different animal. CO2 works primarily on the surface layers of the skin. It removes tiny fractions of damaged skin and stimulates new skin regeneration. This is where we see beautiful improvements in that awful crepey skin that we hate, in pigmentation, texture, fine lines, and that brighter, smoother appearance that so many people are looking for. So when someone asks me which is better, my answer is often both. RF microneedling addresses that deeper tissue remodeling, while CO2 laser addresses the surface. When you stack them strategically, you're treating aging from multiple layers at one time. And that's where we often see the magic. Now, let's talk about the downtime, because this is where these treatments really are very different. The RF microneedling is one of my favorite low downtime treatments. If you want to know more about this specific treatment, I'll link some of my other videos on this topic in the description. But when we combine RF microneedling with companion treatments like PDRN and Elastin's Nectar, most of my clients are shocked at how quickly they recover. In many cases, you're basically back to normal the very next day. Even when we're treating areas like the chest, the arms, or other body areas that typically heal more slowly, this is still true. Now, if you're not combining those healing therapies, you may notice some small grid-like marks on the skin for a few days, and that's completely normal. But generally speaking, you can return to moisturizer, sunscreen, makeup the very next day. And for busy men and women, that's a huge advantage. Now, CO2 laser is different. Depending on how aggressive the treatment is, you're typically looking at about 5 to 7 days of downtime. Now, here's something that surprises people. In my experience, CO2 isn't actually painful, not during the treatment or after the treatment. In fact, with proper numbing, I don't really feel much of anything during the treatment. What surprises people isn't the discomfort, it's the reflection in the mirror afterwards. You may see significant redness, tiny blood spots, or you may see those treatment tracks. The skin can look really shiny and very pink while it's healing. And that's because CO2 is intentionally removing tiny fractions of the skin's surface. So you're seeing that healing process happen right there in front of you. Now with RF microneedling, most of the work is happening beneath the surface. I've often said that about 80 to 90% of the wound healing response action is taking place where you can't see it, down deep. That's one reason the downtime is so much easier. So now let's talk about comfort again for a minute. Both treatments require about 30 to 45 minutes of numbing beforehand. This is where I may have a slightly unpopular opinion, because I actually think RF microneedling is more uncomfortable than the CO2 laser. Now, settings matter, technology matters, provider technique matters, but generally speaking, I find RF microneedling uncomfortable, but very manageable. Personally, I like to take an extra strength Tylenol while numbing, and then I find that the treatment is really very comfortable. CO2 with good numbing, honestly, I barely feel it at all. Now, if you're wondering which treatment you should choose, the answer depends entirely on your goals. If you're looking for minimal downtime, collagen stimulation, skin tightening, and gradual improvement, as well as little to no downtime, RF microneedling is really hard to beat. If you're focused on surface texture, crepey skin, pigmentation, fine lines, and dramatic resurfacing, CO2 laser can be absolutely incredible. And if you really want my favorite answer, it's not choosing one, it's combining them both as a stack treatment in the same surface. Because the best anti aging results rarely come from treating just one layer of aging, they come from treating all of them. And that's exactly why I love these treatments. For my own skin, I do both. RF microneedling several times a year for that collagen and skin tightening, and CO2 around my eyes because nothing I have found touches crepey skin and fine lines around the eyes quite like it. And every chance I get, I do them as a combined treatment together. I hope this video helped clear up the question of which treatment is better. If you have any additional questions you'd like me to answer, I'd love for you to leave me a comment below. And until next time, stay beautiful.